All right, now we gotta go. Let's get into this story. All right, so we got another documentary coming out, and let me tell you, when I was reading up on this and I saw the trailer, I'm like, "Ooh, this is gonna be a good one." Especially with the other documentaries that are coming out. So remember, Stephen Collins, who was on the show Seventh Heaven, he played the father, that was the pastor, and then kind of found out he was disgraced after he went around allegedly, well, not alleged, they said that that's what happened. He went and diddled with some young girls. So they made a documentary on him. And not only him, but there's a couple of them that's actually pretty good that I'm like, oh, I want to check all them out, but we'll get into those in a second. So at one time, Stephen Collins seemed to have it all: fame, wealth, and the undying love of legions of fans. The handsome actor who starred as Jake Cutter on ABC's adventure series Tales of the Gold Monkey, never heard of it, and Diane Keaton's wayward husband in the hit feature film The First Wives Club, which is like one of my favorite movies, was perhaps best known for his role as a wholesome pastor and dad Eric Camden on the WB series Seventh Heaven, which is a show I actually grew up with, by the way. But in Hollywood, California, the land of make-believe and illusion, not everything is as it seems. Now, Collins' Picture Perfect world was turned upside down in 2012 after news broke that he was being investigated by police for allegedly SAing underage girls. The investigation came after a recording of Collins allegedly confessing his transgressions to a therapist was leaked to TMZ. Ooh, y'all pulled the oh my God, what's her name? Eric, what was it? Eric Menendez? No, it was Lyle. Because remember when Lyle went and confessed to his therapist? And all of a sudden, the therapist went it was admitted in court, and that's how they got in jail because he went and confessed that they murdered the parents. Now the therapist out here telling people he out here diddling with children. So the investigation came to, they said that it was leaked to TMZ. So now Collins made headlines again in 2014 when he released a lengthy statement to People admitting he had inappropriate sexual conduct with three female minors over 20 years from 1973 to 1994. So shortly after Collins and Katie Couric, he did an interview with Katie Couric that aired on ABC News's 2020. Shout out to Barbara Walters, that he was absolutely not attractive physically or sexually attracted to children, but you was having contact with them from from the 70s to the 90s. So how you go and admit something from 1973 to 1994, which is like 30 years, right? Because it was like, well, 1973, well, 20 years ish, give or take. So now they said that his fall from grace is being detailed in Investigation Discovery's new six-part series, Hollywood Demons, now premiering on Monday, March 24th from 9 to 11 p.m. on ID and streaming on Max. The series features 6 mini documentaries that pull back the glamorous curtain of fame to explore the hidden struggles, sacrifices, and scandals in life and in the spotlight, according to an ID press release. Each gripping 2-hour episode features accounts from Hollywood insiders, project collaborators, and survivors who endured harrowing abuse and struggles. This is what ID said in its release. So they did release a trailer, which I thought was fairly interesting and juicy. I'm like, oh, and that's what really got me excited. Not only for this one, but there's other ones that they got coming up in there as well. Because I was like, oh, I want to know a lot of stuff that was going on behind the scenes with him and all this other mess. Because I grew up watching Seventh Heaven. Where do you think I learned where I discovered Jessica Biel? I wonder if Justin Timberlake discovered Jessica Biel on there too. And you see in the picture right here, and I had a crush on Barry Watson, who was the older brother. And then you had little Ruthie at the bottom, who I believe she did photo. I think that when she got older, they was like she's all grown up, and she did like a sexy photo shoot for Maxim, if I'm not mistaken. So Dr. Drew Pinsky, who y'all know is an addiction specialist, and feature writer Sachi Cool share their perspectives on each scandal. So they said the majority of the people don't know the true story. And this is another thing too. So in addition to some of the stuff that we're getting about Stephen Collins, America's dad, and him and other stars who are far from the characters that they play, they have an episode they doing on the Power Rangers. When I saw that, I was like, oh, I ain't watching that, because they talk about Oh my God, the Green Ranger when he took his own life and a bunch of other stuff. Then they got one on the Housewives. They got one on the Iron Claw brothers. You know, where they made the movie with Zac Efron. They got one coming up on that, and they got one on the house. I think I said mentioned the one about the Real Housewives. So the Dark Side of the Power Rangers comes out on April 7th. Housewives Gone Bad comes out April 14th because that's where they took the Taylor Armstrong and that chick from Salt Lake City that's in jail. The Real Iron Claw comes out Monday, April 21st, and then they have one about stalking the stars, which they were talking to people who I guess that was like Taylor Swift stalker and a bunch of others. I even saw that they interviewed Jeremy London, who I always actually forgot that he was on Seventh Heaven because I used to follow him and his brother Jason. His twin brother Jason was in Too Long Fu, but I remember Jeremy London, and I think it was also on Party of Five. So that's what really got me excited to want to see this because I'm like, oh, I want to see that. And yeah, then they had there was one like when I was talking about what was it? Because there was another one that they mentioned too about I guess like celebrities who had like their fall from grace and they went and they turned violent. So they had one with Zachary Ty Bryan. Remember when he was the older brother on Home Improvement? They had him locked up in the back of the police car and they were taking his video and all this other stuff. So I saw that video. Oh, it's called Child Stars Gone Violent. That's what it's called. And it comes out on March 31st. And it's about the path of crime, addiction, and violence that ensued for some young celebrities once their moment in the spotlight has faded. So yeah, one of the people that they had up in there, they showed a clip of the older brother, Zachary Ty Bryan from Home Improvement, because you know he's been getting in trouble a lot. Or maybe y'all don't know because I haven't been keeping up. But yeah, he got recently arrested. He was like face was all messed up. He was drunk, whatever the case was. I think he was assaulting his wife or something or another. So yeah, these are the things that's happening. Shit. Investigation, because I'm gonna say imitation, investigation discovery has been on a roll lately in regards to these deep dives and stuff into like stuff that's going on, especially in Hollywood. Because like I told you, ever since they put out that docu-series about what was going on behind the scenes with Nickelodeon, I have been locked into a lot of these shows. Like they did one on Nick Carter and his brother, they did one on The Diddler, which he's suing for, and they've been doing a whole bunch of other ones ever since. Well, I don't think he is suing for that one. I know he's suing for the one on Peacock. That's why I keep mistaking. But yeah, so we have all of this, and if you want, definitely check out the trailer. I saw it on YouTube, or you can go to my website over at chrisavalon.com. I have the trailer there. And so March 24th, if you want to start watching it, that's when it airs. And if you want to also, you can follow ID Investigation Discovery on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, you know, all the usual stuff that they have. So like I said, I'm definitely interested in checking this out, especially because the whole behind the scenes thing about Stephen Collins. But not only that, but I'm relatively intrigued about what they're going to pull the curtain back on with them old messy housewives. And you know, the one particularly about Power Rangers, because I, as a kid who grew up watching Power Rangers, that definitely had me intrigued. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this story? Is this a show that you will also be seeing yourselves checking out along with the other shows that they're going to be adding to this docket? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.